All right, council members, we are good to go. Councilmember, you may begin when you're ready.
Good afternoon. I'm Robert White, council member at large and chair of the Committee on Housing. Today is Wednesday, November 6th, 2024, and we are meeting both in room 123 of the John A. Wilson Building and remotely via Zoom. The time is now 4:07 p.m., and I'm calling to order this additional committee meeting. We have a quorum consisting of myself, Ward 5 council member Zachary Parker, and Ward 3 council member Matt Fruman. Today, the committee will consider 6 confirmation resolutions and 1 permanent bill. The confirmation resolutions would appoint 5 public voting members to the Commission on Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs and 1 consumer and community interests representative to the Board of Directors of the DC Housing Finance Agency. Both the Commission and the Board are essential in creating a fair and inclusive community that supports our residents' ability to thrive no matter where they come from. The Commission on Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs is made up of 15 public voting members and 13 ex officio members. Every year, many of our neighborhoods return home after serving time, carrying hope for a fresh start and the ambition to rebuild something bigger and better than what they had before. Together, we have made significant strides for returning citizens, including restoring the right to vote to those incarcerated and providing housing, free IDs, and public travel support to those who return home. But we know that we need to do more. This is where we come to the commission step. This is where the commission steps in to advise us of what we need to do to show up better for our community. At the roundtable last week, the nominees and I discussed the importance of the commission and how to move it forward for our returning neighbors and community. After those conversations, I support these nominees and recommend their approval, the approval of their appointments. The first measure is PR 25-866, which would reappoint Mr. James Berry Jr. to the commission as a public voting member for a term to end August 4th, 2026. If reappointed, Mr. Berry would serve as a public voting member with a term to end on August 4th, 2026. At the roundtable, he shared that he is a retired deputy director of the Court Services and Offender Supervision Agency, CSOSA, has consistently worked for the betterment of the returning citizens community, served on the commission until last year, and holds a BA in criminal justice from Villanova University and an MA in counseling from the University of the District of Columbia. He is also licensed as a professional counselor and independent clinical social worker. If reappointed, he said he would focus on encouraging active participation from the 13 ex officio agency members who have not participated in the commission's work. Is there discussion on PR 25-866? Hearing none, I move the committee print and report for PR 25-866, the Commission on Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs, James Berry Jr., confirmation resolution of 2024, with leave for staff to make technical and conforming changes. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed indicate by saying no. The ayes have it, and the measure passes. The second measure for markup is PR 25-867, which would reappoint Ms. Kanetta Calloway as a public voting member to the commission for a term to end August 4th, 2026. At the roundtable, Ms. Calloway shared that she completed 30 years of federal service as lead senior budget analyst at the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. She also founded a nonprofit dedicated to reentry support called Broken Chains Incorporated, which was inspired by her own experience as a single parent after her husband's incarceration. If reappointed, her goal would be to focus on expanding our housing opportunities for returning citizens. Ms. Calloway's reappointment was supported at our roundtable by Mr. Robert Vincent Branham. Mr. Berry's reappointment was supported by Mr. Robert Vincent Branham. I apologize, I have that out of order. Is there discussion on PR 25-867, the Commission on Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs, Kanetta Calloway confirmation resolution of 2025? Hearing none, I move the committee print and report for PR 25-867, the Commission on Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs, Kanetta Calloway confirmation resolution of 2024, with leave for staff to make technical and conforming changes. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed, please indicate by saying no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it and the measure passes. The third measure for markup is PR 25-968, which would nominate James T. Dunn as a public member for a term to end August 4th, 2027. At the roundtable, Mr. Dunn, a financial strategist, who advocates for returning citizens, was inspired by his reentry journey. Mr. Dunn has made it his goal to expand financial literacy to residents through his programs From the Streets to Wall Street and Serve and Save. If appointed, Mr. Dunn aims to expand financial literacy and economic empowerment programs tailored for returning citizens. We received testimony supporting Mr. Dunn's appointment from Free Minds Book Club and Connie Pulliam of the Office of the Attorney General. Is there discussion on PR 25-968, the Commission on Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs, James T. Dunn Confirmation Resolution of 2024? Hearing none, I move the committee print and report for PR 25-968, the Commission on Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs, James T. Dunn Confirmation Resolution of 2024, with leave for staff to make technical and conforming changes. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed indicate by saying nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it and the measure passes. The fourth measure for markup is PR 25-870. This measure would appoint Mr. Maurice Tyree to the commission as a public voting member with a term to end August 4th, 2027. At the roundtable, Mr. Tyree shared that he works for ABM Industrial at George Washington University and is an active cohort 23 scholar with the Prison to Professional program, a program focused on the mentorship and educational counseling of individuals currently or formerly incarcerated. Additionally, he wrote The Darkest Part of My Blackness, a journey of remorse, reform, reconciliation, and revolution. If appointed, his goal would be to establish mentorship programs, a mentorship program for returning citizens. Is there discussion on PR 25-970, the Commission on Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs, Maurice Tyree Confirmation Resolution of 2024? Hearing none, I move the committee print and report for PR 25-970, the Commission on Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs, Maurice Tyree Confirmation Resolution of 2024, with leave for staff to make technical and conforming changes. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed indicate by saying no. The ayes have it, and the measure passes. The fifth measure for the commission is PR 25-872, which would nominate Reverend Ricardo W. Shepard for a term to end August 4th, 2027. At the roundtable, he shared that he currently serves as the rector of the Episcopal Church of the Atonement in D.C., where he provides pastoral care and oversees parish activities. Inspired by his own reentry experience, Reverend Shepard is a reentry services and social justice advocate. Previously, he served as a former prison partnership coordinator for Hudson River Presbytery, where he developed and managed strategic programming across 89 churches for justice-involved citizens. If appointed, his goal would be to focus on the families of incarcerated and returning citizens. Is there discussion on PR 25-972, the Commission on Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs, Ricardo Shepard Confirmation Resolution of 2024? Hearing none, I move the committee print and report for PR 25-972, the Commission on Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs, Ricardo Shepard Confirmation Resolution of 2024, with leave for staff to make technical and conforming changes. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please indicate by saying no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. And I move the, I'm sorry, in the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it and the measure passes. The Housing Finance Agency is an important part of our affordable housing ecosystem. Its work makes affordable housing a reality for countless families through financial assistance for creating new housing, down payment assistance programs like the Home Purchase Assistance Program, and through aging in place programs like the Reverse Mortgage Foreclosure Prevention Program. The agency, also known as DCHFA, is run by a board of 5 members. PR 25-958 would appoint Johannes Fuller as a representative of community or consumer interests with a term to end June 28, 2025. Mr. Fuller is a distinguished real estate and finance professional committed to promoting affordable housing and fostering community development in DC. He is the founder of Adinkra Solutions Incorporated, where he leads real estate advisory services with an emphasis on building inclusive communities. Previously, as Chief Operating Officer at the DC Department of General Services, Mr. Fuller managed asset management, construction, and facilities maintenance, advancing major projects through public-private partnerships. His civic contributions include serving as a board trustee for Paul Public Charter School and as a board member for the African American Real Estate Professionals of DC. Mr. Fuller earned a Bachelor of Science from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute and an MBA from Cornell University. If appointed, Mr. Fuller shared that his goal for the board is to ensure that affordable housing projects stay on track for completion while the board goes through transitions. He emphasized the importance of community in our current affordable housing ecosystem. Is there discussion on PR 25-958, the Board of Directors of the District of Columbia Housing Finance Agency, Johannes Fuller Confirmation Resolution of 2024? Hearing none, I move the committee print and report for PR 25-958, the Board of Directors of the District of Columbia Housing Finance Agency, Johannes Fuller Confirmation Resolution of 2024, with leave for staff to make technical and conforming changes. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed please indicate by saying no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Finally, the committee will consider Bill 25-418, the Fairness and Stability in Housing Amendment Act of 2024. The district has numerous housing programs set up to support residents from all walks of life. Nationally, the district is seen as a model for affordable housing development and tenant protections. Our boards and commissions, like the ones I just talked about, come up with thoughtful ideas for making the district even better on housing. Yet, since joining the council, and especially since my tenure as chair of this committee, I continue to hear from residents that some things just aren't working. People say the programs are good on paper, but in real life, they can't access them, or the process takes way longer than it should, or they cause more stress than was worth it. The same has been true for some of the business owners trying to navigate the district's housing ecosystem. I knew my colleagues and I would have our work cut out for us to try to fix this. We want to make sure the district's policies and programs actually meet resident needs. If programs aren't reaching the people on the ground in a way that works, then they should not be policy. The Fairness and Stability in Housing Amendment Act of 2024 is a step toward responding to these concerns. The bill combines 6 pieces of legislation and increases stability, accountability, and predictability for homeowners, renters, and multifamily businesses. First, the bill incorporates B25-242, the Reverse Mortgage Foreclosure Prevention Program Amendment Act of 2023. Given the rising cost of living and property taxes in DC, the council created a pilot reverse mortgage insurance and tax payment program to help residents age 62 and older who were on the verge of defaulting on their reverse mortgages. The program, known as REMIT, is a critical safety net, particularly for seniors living on fixed incomes. Under the pilot, REMIT has already helped prevent housing insecurity for over 30 residents. This measure makes the program permanent, expands coverage to include condominium and cooperative association fees, and increases the amount of support eligible seniors can receive to ensure that even more seniors can age in place. Second, the bill incorporates B25-417, the Rental Housing Commission Fair Opportunity for Appeal Amendment Act of 2023. The Rental Housing Commission is an independent appellate body Tenants and housing providers appeal to the commission if they aren't satisfied with the decision made by the Office of the Administrative Hearings or the rent administrator related to the rent stabilized units or other parts of the Rental Housing Act. This measure is designed to make the appeals process clearer and fairer by right-sizing the timelines to file appeals and receive decisions on appeal. It also makes sure that the commission receives all necessary documents and records on time so they can review cases more efficiently. Finally, the bill allows the use of mediation to help resolve issues faster. Overall, the changes will support both tenants and housing providers navigating the appeals process. Third, the bill incorporates the Voluntary Agreement Abolition Amendment Act of 2023, which is also the bill used as the underlying vehicle for this larger measure. Under DC law, housing providers can negotiate with tenants to set up parameters around rental rates, building improvements, and other services in a building. The resulting contract is called a voluntary agreement. Voluntary agreements are just one of many tools that providers can use to increase rent-stabilized rents. These agreements are attractive due to the flexibility they provide, when as compared to the other processes that require more administrative review. This flexibility, however, has raised concerns that voluntary agreements can lead to tenant displacement, decreased affordability for future rents, and two classes of tenants within the same building, one with improved conditions and higher rents, and the other with lesser conditions but lower rents. In response to these concerns, Council passed a temporary moratorium on voluntary agreements to try to find a reasonable solution. During that time, the Rental Housing Commission published new rules on voluntary agreements that also sought to address the concerns raised for over a decade. The rules create clear processes and accountability mechanisms to make sure voluntary agreements are reasonable. However, because of the moratorium, we've yet to see these rules in action. This is an opportunity to see how the rules work in practice, and the bill will allow the rules to go into effect. Those rules will provide a pathway to improved housing conditions for tenants in certain circumstances while avoiding the harms that led us to a moratorium in the first place. Fourth, the bill incorporates B25-633, the Certificate of Assurance Repeal Amendment Act of 2023. DC allows rental property owners to apply for certificates of assurance from the mayor, which will provide tax credits for if the district ever limited rents below market rates, such as by expanding rent stabilization. However, since the program started nearly 40 years ago, the mayor hasn't issued any certificates. Recent data from the Department of Housing and Community Development shows that a majority of requests for those certificates, most of which came through starting in 2019, don't meet the compliance requirements. DC's development patterns suggest that this program hasn't been a deciding factor in incentivizing new rental housing, and allowing these certificates to remain in effect could create a financial strain on the district, potentially diverting funds from other affordable housing initiatives. The council placed a temporary pause on new certificate requests in 2020, and this bill makes that pause permanent. Fifth, the bill incorporates my Association Meeting Flexibility Amendment Act of 2024. This is a permanent version of legislation that's been in effect on an emergency and temporary basis since the earliest days of our coronavirus response. It allows people who own condos or co-op interests to participate in their association meetings virtually. This is important because these associations are required by law to hold annual meetings, and many of them haven't adopted bylaws that would expressly allow for remote meeting participation. We want everyone in a homeowner association to have an easy say in how that HOA is governed, and this bill provides common sense support for that. Last, this bill makes technical changes to the law that will make sure council reviews commission on reentry and returning citizen affairs nominees under the correct law and corrects an outdated agency name. Is there discussion on this measure? Hearing none, I move the committee print and report for B25-418, the Fairness and Stability in Housing Amendment Act of 2024, with leave for staff to make technical and conforming changes. All those in support, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All who oppose, please indicate by saying no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion passes. That concludes the business on today's agenda. If anyone listening is interested in connecting with my team or getting involved in our committee's work, please visit robertwhiteatlarge.com and be sure to sign up for our newsletter. The business before the committee is concluded. The time is now 4:27 p.m., and this additional meeting of the Housing Committee on Housing is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.